Okay, what's going on, guys? It's Mr. Neuter Comics, and this is going to be my review of Wolverine, Old Man Logan. This is a graphic novel, puts together Wolverine 66 through 72. It's written by Mark Millar and drawn by Steve McNiven. This one is awesome. This is an awesome book. This was actually suggested to me by one of my good friends on here. He has a channel, a comic channel also. You should check him out, Nightmare Comics 1. I'll put the link in the description. But this one's basically 50 years in the future. Wolverine, he's real Clint Eastwood style on the farm with his family. Non-violent, they don't have a lot of money. He seems to be struggling. Villains have apparently taken over the world. There's no more superheroes, and Wolverine's just living in California, farming, and he gets approached one day on his farm. He's late on rent. He needs money for rent, and he gets approached by an old friend. The old friend happens to be Hawkeye. Now, Hawkeye is pretty much as batshit crazy as you'd expect him to be. He's blind, as you see the image right there. It looks very old, and he needs to run to the East Coast. They're obviously in California, and he needs somebody to help him out. He needs somebody to go with him. So he asked Logan to go on this trip with him. Now, Wolverine lives in California. This is the Hulk's area. They run it. Hulk is a supervillain in this. He switched sides, obviously, because they couldn't take him out, and they said, man, why are you fighting this? So Hulk became a villain. The Hulk took California, and Logan has to pay rent, and he needs the money. Logan has made a pact. Logan will not pop his claws at all, ever again. He will never pop his claws again, and we don't know why yet, but this is the reason. So he tells Hawkeye nothing violent, and Logan says goodbye to his family, and they're pretty much off. I like one funny thing, actually. As Logan's leaving, he says I love you to one of his kids, and I love you, baby girl, he says to the girl, and she says I love you too, Pa. And Hawkeye looks over and he just says, oh please, if Sabretooth could see you now. And I think Hawkeye is just really funny throughout this entire book. He has some great one-liners. But they had to travel from the west to the east through all the different villains' domains. Hulk takes California. The Nevada area was ruled by Magneto until the Kingpin killed him and took that area over. Then there's some dead space, and then Doom, and the President's quarters, the East Coast. We don't know who this president is yet. But basically on the way, Hawkeye somehow, they drive through an area called the Canyon of Heroes or something like that, whatever. And it's called Hammer Falls, and this like image was pretty crazy to me when I saw this on the page. Now it's called Hammer Falls because, as you see in the image, this is where the last of the great superheroes defeated, and Thor's hammer remains in the ground. Obviously no one can lift it, so it just remains there now. And now people, just regular civilians, the crowds just they form around it, and then there's people just praying around Thor's hammer, around where the superheroes were destroyed, where the end of the protection of the superheroes and supervillains taking over the world. This is where it ended, and just these images in this part of the book I thought were really tremendous. This was like so awesome to me when they were going through this part. You just see people with figurines and wearing super suits and capes and just praying and wishing that the supers come back. But anyway, they run into Ultron 5, and Ultron 5 basically informs Hawkeye that his daughter was abducted by the Kingpin. Now his daughter happens to be Spider-Girl, so she's also kind of a super, and he's kind of shocked that she was trying to save people and got abducted by Kingpin. So he talks Logan, who still won't be violent. He talks him into going to save her, and he comes with, but he says, I'm not going to do anything. Bottom line is, Hawkeye has a sweet scene where, he saves her, he blind and all, killing people, shooting people down. But once he saves her, she turns kills the Kingpin and turns on Hawkeye, and then Logan actually has to save Hawkeye without using violence, and that's a pretty great scene. So yeah, basically now, they escape. Logan helps them escape, and Logan's been very weary about Hawkeye, but Hawkeye seems to be still showing, superhero tendencies, but they're not sure. Logan's not sure what he's trying to transport. He thinks it may be drugs. Hawkeye won't really answer, won't tell him what's going on, and now Hawkeye, after this happened, his daughter turns on him. She's taken over Kingpin's area. She's sent her men after Hawkeye, tried to kill Hawkeye. He's kind of distraught. He's upset. So they're at a bar on the road. They obviously stopped somewhere in the middle territory, and Logan's really saying, "Hey, you're right, man. How are you? Like, how are you feeling after what's happened to you?" And he's all messed up. And then basically something happens to make somebody makes a comment towards Logan, and now his emotions are high. Things are happening. He's getting pushed more and more towards violence, and Logan kind of snaps, and Logan jumps off the bar, tackles this guy, puts his fist to the guy's head like he's gonna pop his claw, and then runs out of the bar. And Hawkeye follows him and basically says, "What is the story? What's the deal with this? What's going on?" So yeah, he just says, "What happened, man? What did they do to you?" And then finally Wolverine just says, "You know what? Sit down and I'll tell you." And it flashes back, and it's Jubilee and Wolverine. They're in, they're in the institute. They're at the the war room, and all of a sudden there's like alerts and a break-in, and in come all these super villains into this danger room, and Wolverine's fighting them all off one by one, fighting them, killing them, knocking them down. It's just a great couple of pages, great couple of panels, page after page. Wolverine chopping down all these super villains, and it finally comes down to just him and Bullseye, and they're going at it, crushing each other, really fighting. And he even says, the last was Bullseye. They went for like 20 minutes, he wasn't stopping, and then finally you see Bullseye, bloody down on the floor, and he just says, "Logan, please stop. Why are you doing this? You're supposed to be our friend." And a confused Logan takes a look, and then the smoke clears, and you just see bodies. It's Bullseye is really Jubilee in his hands that he slayed, and then just the X-Men just slain everywhere, all over the war room. He killed every single X-Man. This was a pretty shocking scene. This page, this whole chapter. I mean, I can imagine as an issue if I was buying Wolverine at the time, which I wasn't. This had to be shocking. This had to be a great episode. Issue. But really shocking, really disturbing stuff. Makes you really feel for Logan, and you now understand why he won't pop his claws, why he won't do anything. So with that, pretty much say, whatever, he still talks to him, and he's still going to continue with Hawkeye, and they continue on to the East Coast. So they finally get east to the President's territory. The President is the Red Skull. The Red Skull, they flash back, they show him defeating Captain America, and Hawkeye meets up with his people there, and he's going to give them what Logan thought was drugs, but it's actually super soldier serum, the same thing that Captain America and the Red Skull had made them, what they are. And Hawkeye's trying to start a new team of superheroes, and that's what he's transporting. But it's a setup. The Red Skull knew all along. They end up killing Hawkeye and shooting up Logan. Logan gets sprayed up with bullets. But when they bring Logan's body to the Red Skull, he's obviously, not dead. He's healed up, and he ends up taking everybody out and busts out, the old Captain America shield, and uses it on the Red Skull to kill him. Now, the reason that the shield was there is because the Red Skull had collected all the superheroes stuff, so he had, Iron Man suit and stuff laying around. So Wolverine puts on the Iron Man suit, which is actually also a really awesome scene, and he escapes, goes back to Cali to now he's got the money. He's going to pay the Hulks the rent and get his family off the hook, and the Hulks have actually murdered his family, his kids, his wife, 2 weeks before the notice was even up. So Wolverine's face is just amazing in these panels. He's just blankly staring, not even upset, and then you just see the anger come into his face, and he takes all the Hulks out and then goes after Bruce. Bruce Banner is in human form. He fights him, seemingly defeating him, and then Bruce says, "You just made a mistake. You won't like him when I'm angry." It's obvious that the radiation, as Bruce even says this, the radiation's gotten to his brain, so he actually kind of went crazy, and that could explain the Hulk. Then the Hulk actually ends up defeating Wolverine. He eats them, and you think that's pretty much it. And then